Hello, I'm Daryl Hauser. I'm standing here in the Little Havana section of Miami, where a week ago these streets were crowded with frolicking, festive Cubans Americans who were celebrating the passing of Fidel Castro, the longtime communist dictator who ruled the country with an iron fist. As you can see, the streets are a bit quieter right now, but still there's a lot of opinions that reign deep and feelings that hold strong regarding Fidel Castro's passing. Standing right by the landmark Cuban-American restaurant Versailles, which to a lot of the Cubans here in Miami is a precious landmark and is regarded as one of the great central meeting places where people can discuss issues reflecting Cuba, Cuban Americans in Miami, and whatever else is affecting the community at large. Vendors are selling flags and souvenirs. Standing right outside Versailles' Cuban coffee stand, where, as a Cuban tradition, you wait right outside a window in order to buy coffee, pastry, and just grab a sip of water as well. And it's also a great chance to engage in conversation. Well, we have out here sculptor Felix Semper showing off looks like a bust out of a special latex material, certainly very malleable, of what appears to be Jose Marti, if I'm not mistaken. Jose Marti is, if anyone was a George Washington to Cuba, it would be Jose Marti, and not who the radical leftists say Fidel Castro.
You have to laser cut that?
No, this is all by hand.
Really?
It's all cut by hand. It's all sanded, and so there's no technology involved.
Wow, amazing.
This quick question was that here? Very good.
My ex would love the next life as the art director for the UN.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Back though from people in regard to your sculpting.
The Cuban community itself, they love it. I mean, they love it because and that's the reason why I did Marti, because Marti is a common ground amongst Cubans in Cuba and Cubans outside of Cuba. So he's the neutral ground. So by him being a neutral individual, that's I think everyone accepts him. And I don't get into politics. That's not my field. I'm an artist. And I express myself with art.
Yeah, well, either way, he's still a revered figure, I understand. The school's named after him. The airport in Havana is named after him.
Actually, I don't know if you overheard, but I did a documentary. Back in May, I took him to Cuba and did a documentary. And it's not out yet, but we're still editing it. And so, I want to finish it with this scene in Havana, Little Havana.
Okay, yeah. Oh, very good. This is just to give an inside look of the Cuban coffee stand here in Versailles, Little Havana, Miami. Well, a popular food here among Miami's Cuban population is the midnight sandwich, which just goes by the simple Spanish name medianoche. It is basically Cuban bread with pork, I believe ham, and cheese. It is grilled on an iron and kind of pressed flat. Nonetheless, sure to be a tasty treat. And a Cuban coffee to top it off. Well, this is Sampre shows off the bust of Jose Marti here. A lot of the older Cuban folk who stop by still hold a lot of reverence for Jose Marti. He is still a very, very revered figure still in the history of the Cuban people. It took about 4 months to make, from what I understand. And it is a handmade sculpture, so certainly this was unexpected. I was hoping to talk to Cuban American people about Fidel Castro, but still another part of his history and the Cuban American reverence for this part of history back to a nicer time in the country's history, shortly after Cuba's independence and it's during the the time when Cuba was a true republic before Fidel Castro came to power. Even before that, you had another leader who was basically a dictator, and that was Batista. It's unexpected to see Cuba's past this well represented, but certainly it shows how people long for this, the kind of future they hope for Cuba as well. I mean, it may not be said here verbatim, but it certainly is reflected here in attitude. Well, this rock outside the restaurant has this interesting little plaque. It's basically regard to Versailles restaurant. It's in, best I can translate to Spanish here, recognition of the Cuban men and women who are resigned to never live without liberty. In other words, pursue a life of freedom. Those that come together at this restaurant Versailles are a patriotic people, and certainly the culture is designed to live on here. Of course, there's a fear, as always with communism, that cultures would disappear off the face of the earth. Communism always has had an effect on songs, on music, on styles of art, and even on languages in countries where it's taken place. The resolve here was that the traditional culture of Cuba would live on in spite of what's happened in the island nation under communism.
Un acordeón de papel que se convierte en una obra magnífica. Yo creo que es una cosa maravillosa, asombrosa, diferente, que casi nadie conoce, y que estoy seguro que cuando tu capacidad artística, tu talento como escultor, este nuevo tipo y modelo de escultura, sea conocido nacional e internacionalmente, vas a ser un tipo muy famoso, porque honestamente esto se sale, se escapa de todo lo que tenga que ver con la cosa común y regular de un arte tan antiguo como las esculturas griegas y romanas. Esto es una cosa completamente modernista, asombrosa y casi milagrosa.
Gentleman here sharing his certainly his sentiments about Jose Marti and the importance of Cuban heritage and culture being preserved. Well, it's a bit breezy right now here in Little Havana in Miami. Well, we didn't get to get too much response to Castro. Apparently, too, there's a lot of people are just tired. He's gone, and that's all there is to say about him. But what's interesting is the sculpture exhibition that was put on with the paper sculpture by Felix Semper about Jose Marti, who is basically the Cuban Republic's founding patriarch, more or less, best words I can say. But nonetheless, the people of Versailles here are coming back to their regular lives, eating delicious Cuban food, drinking coffee, and well, even if you don't want to discuss Cuban-American politics, it's still a great place to come and eat. So you can't lose by coming over here. And of course, people here are reflecting, hoping that Cuba can once again return to the original pre-Castro Republic, pre-Batista Republic that it once was, the republic that Jose Marti apparently envisioned and hoped would be the future for his country. And of course, if that happens with Cuba, America could benefit too. It would be good to have a good democratic ally not far from our shores, because representative nations such as, let's say Canada, for example, often mean a more peaceful relationship. It's usually totalitarian nations that we often have the most trouble with. And well, hopefully Cuba will one day, not too long from now, be off of that list, as the people will be enjoying a true democratic republic form of government. Well, from Little Havana, I'm Daryl Hauser. Until next time.